All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Kids Deserve to Eat 2020 Charity Marathon. We're going to be doing Super Castlevania, any percent, and we have reached our $200 incentive to have Hero do whip only. Now, I'm not sure what that entails. I mean, obviously, we're going to be using a lot of whip, but I know Hero and Pliskin can talk a little bit more about what that's going to entail throughout this run. So I'm going to introduce our runner, Hero 82. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hello, Jay.
I know you were talking to me about what a good number would be for the donation incentive for whip only. Are you thinking that maybe you should have gone a little bit higher?
I said it tragically too low.
And also we're going to be joined by Cocom, who's going to be helping out Hero during this run. We have Pliskin here. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going well. I want to thank you guys, and I'm appreciative for both of you joining us. Sorry that we went about an hour or so over. We were not expecting to hit these wonderful incentives we had for Simper, who pushed him to do 100% completion and killing all the bosses, which added about an hour on. But I'm going to talk no longer. You guys actually, real quick, we had a donation come in, and also you guys can just let me know when a good time is to read donations, and I'll pop in and do it. But we just got a donation from a pretty big one. We had a donation from Scurry27, $64. $1 for every minute overestimate for Semper Fire Dogs being surprised 10 minutes mid-run. Sorry, 100% mid-run. Can we put this towards the 8 dragons? Oh, of course, Scurry. Thank you so much for that donation. All right. You guys have the floor.
All right, thank you, Jay.
So I'll start off by saying whip only in Castlevania is basically any percent, but I can collect the whip upgrades, which means Simon starts with a leather whip. You can collect a chain whip upgrade and then a longer chain whip upgrade, but I cannot collect any other upgrades, which means I can't collect sub weapons. Normal any percent uses the cross boomerang, which is very overpowered. And the lovely donators have taken it away from me. So I will be suffering a little bit in this run. So that's basically it. I'm gonna let Pliskin mostly take the wheel on this one. I'm just gonna be the Simon trudging through the castle on my way to Dracula.
And now that Hero's explained that, I'm going to say that I'm going to donate $10 for every death he does, and since it's whip only, anytime he grabs an item, he has to take another death. I'm going to do $15 for those deaths.
That sounds good. I like. I'm going to try not to make Pliskin have to spend too much money, but there's no promises here, Pliskin, so keep your wallet handy.
All right.
So the timing for this game, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can start the timing. It's, I guess they call it SDA timing. It's basically when you lose control of Simon, or when you gain control of Simon. So you can either start with a negative split or a negative countdown on your timer. It can either be on the start screen and you just mash through everything. You can start on the enter your name screen, or you can start on the next screen after this. But I decided, since I was going to name my character All Kids Deserve to Eat, I would start on the next screen, which is actually, you'll see Simon walking up to the castle here shortly. So.
All right. Got the great file name there. And the run begins. So the first thing to note here is that he gets a whip upgrade right away, and then he's going to need to get 8 hearts to get the next whip upgrade. But those big hearts, those don't count. So he has to grab some more of those little hearts, and then he'll get a big whip upgrade.
In any percent, there's a lot more damage boosting that you can do. In whip only, I take a lot fewer damage boosts than I do because I consider health a lot more of a valuable resource in this category because I take a lot more damage that I don't intend to take, I guess I should say, because I don't run this category as often as I do regular any percent, so I'm a little bit of a babby noob, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you get you can prime up them crosses to hit things that are coming on screen and stuff, whereas you kind of have to stop and pause and hit with the whip. So it kind of slows you down a little bit, and you get more enemies and stuff you run into.
I guess would you consider this like a power strut that Simon has, Pliskin?
Yeah, just maybe really confident. He's sure of himself, and just going on.
I could see Simon like at the mall, like power walking with like old folks.
I can definitely see that now. I can't get that out of my. Can't be unseen. That's for sure. So I have a fun little tip while we're going through the first level, since it's pretty straightforward. This wasn't actually a sequel. This was kind of like a reboot, or intended to be a reboot. So it doesn't really follow right after Castlevania 2 from NES. And here's the first boss. This is Rodan. A simple skeleton riding a horse, real easy.
He's a lot easier with crosses.
You probably say that about every single boss you fight, right?
I'm trying to think if there's any enemy that really isn't. Well, there's one boss that really isn't very hard with whip. I'll say that.
This stage is kind of annoying with all those hands that grab you.
Yeah, there's one hand spawn that is almost unavoidable, and it's like the hand can spawn essentially as soon as you walk into the stage, and it almost makes me want to reset when I'm running 90%. It's so demoralizing. It's funny, when I was setting the incentive for this, I almost considered setting the incentive to run hard mode, and now that I'm running whip only, I almost wish I had. Because at least it would have been way harder, and I probably would have died a lot, but at least I would have had crosses. Just to give you an idea of how much I like crosses.
Especially a stage like this, like 2-2, with all the little creatures, the birds, the frogs, the bats. Them crosses can be primed up really easy.
Yeah, small creatures in this game actually are more frustrating than large creatures. Just because, like, Simon's whip animation is kind of slow, and the small creatures are a lot harder to hit. I don't know if anyone's played like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but like the flea men are one of the most frustrating enemies in the game.
And then he just took down Medusa. Cool thing about this level that's a little different than some of the others is you don't get the orb after killing Medusa. You gotta go through like a couple stages after it. I always thought that was a neat little thing and kind of throws you on your first run through.
So you'll notice, like, I do a lot of jumping in certain spots. Sometimes it's because if I jump from a height, Simon will get crouch locked for a few frames, and if you continue to jump out of that crouch lock, you can actually save probably like 15 frames of crouch lock animation. I don't know the exact number. But in that water area, if you jump repeatedly while the current's swimming against you, or while you're walking against the current, I should say, it's obviously faster than just walking against the current.
Yep, but they got those spikes you got to watch out for too. So you gotta make sure you're jumping at the right times.
Yeah, I've definitely ended a few runs by jumping my head right into those spikes.
These caverns, this is a stage I like just purely for the music. It's a good stage for tunes. Lots of little surprises in this stage though, like the stalactites dropping from the ceiling. Alright, so in this area, Hero is going to be performing a little glitch called a ring glitch, but it's a little specific on the setup. So when he gets up there, he's going to be jumping on this platform and then walking back down, and then you'll see him jump up and hit the ring. And when he hits the ring, he goes upwards. But the reason he jumped on that platform is the screen scrolled and didn't spawn this enemy's hitbox yet, so he doesn't take damage from that enemy there. He's able just to go right through it, and he performed it flawlessly.
Get your wallet out.
There's one.
I have never picked up that cross in a single run.
You guys think he's doing it on purpose to make me pay more? That's alright though, it's a good cause. Now he's got to deal with a little stubby whip for a little bit.
That wasn't too much of a time loss though, because I was literally right next to the beginning of the stage, so.
So the health in this game is food, and it's obviously meat. And this is something I like to ask people. I even asked Hero, and he didn't really know. What meat do you think that is? I mean, do you think it's like turkey, beef? I'll let you guys have a guess, and then I'll tell you what it is. Right here could be another ring glitch, but it only saves a couple frames, so Hero just passes it up. It's not a big deal. And then here, while he's waiting on the bone dragon, that actually despawns the bone dragon up ahead and allows, for one, he doesn't have to fight it, and two, it's a really laggy bone dragon because of all the other monsters and stuff around. Well, we got a guess for turkey. Meat from humans. Zombie meat. Pork is actually the closest. It's a pork chop in the instruction manual. Alright, so this boss here, this these are the Orthic Vipers. Incredibly hard on without crosses. This is probably the hardest boss other than like Slagra and maybe Zapbat.
Yeah, that boss, it's with crosses, the Orphic Vipers takes, I don't know, 3 seconds to kill in any percent. It's a very frustrating boss with whip only. One, the hit detection is very bad because, well, you know, every single snake boss in every single game has bad hit detection. I'm looking at you, Botwound.
So this level is not too horrible with whip only. Just a couple pauses here and there, but most of it's jump diagonal shots, as you can see him doing. This boss, his name is Qxel. I'm not sure if I said that right. I know how to spell it, but so he's not too hard without the crosses. He got a good pattern here, and he's able just to whip upwards.
Yeah, the pattern where he stays on the ground and shoots like brains at you is a really crappy one with whip only, because you either have to just take a bunch of damage or whip him twice and then whip up once to protect yourself from the bones that fall. So I got a really good pattern there.
And this room is just pretty easy Medusas. It looks like you're doing the safe spot where you just stand there. Yep, just standing there. So easy peasy. While he's doing that, a little fun tidbit about the last boss. His name spelled backwards is a phonetical version of licks you up. Konami always has their fun little Easter eggs. This stage, it's not too bad without the cross either, but that pink stuff that falls from the ceiling, you can get hurt by that. It's not fun because it usually knocks you off the direction you don't want to go.
Yeah, this rotating screen is really interesting because the rotation creates a ton of lag, and the more times you whip in the screen, the more lag you generate. And if you don't kill the enemies in like a specific way, more enemies can spawn, which is actually really interesting. Like the skeletons that I killed in that screen, I could have generated more skeletons by just not moving through the screen fast enough.
A good 4-4 here, not missing anything. A little swag up the stairs, walking backwards. Alright, so this boss, he's not too hard either without the crosses. It's a little safer with the crosses, but not much harder overall. A lot quicker with the crosses.
His name is Coronat, which spelled backwards is ton of rock.
Good old Konami.
And yeah, the fight is slow with him, but you can really play safe. He does hit pretty hard. I think his body does 4, and the rocks he throws also do 4 damage. So you just have to be careful when you fight him. I play pretty safe in this category. You can be a bit more aggressive, but again, it's weird because like sometimes you don't do damage to him even though you hit him. Ooh, man. This screen can be like particularly trolly with the harpy locations. I got pretty good RNG in that bottom section.
Looks like you're getting away pretty easy on the harpy RNG. Which anyone who plays Castlevania knows those harpies are carrying those fleamen, and you don't want those. They are so annoying.
Yeah, they're harder to kill than the harpies. I guess one mechanic that I didn't mention is that this game is interesting because Simon, unlike previous Castlevanias, Simon can not only whip his whip in multiple directions, but he can also hold his whip out and wiggle it around, which doesn't sound particularly useful, but you can use that to like fend off projectiles, which obviously is very useful. I use that quite a bit for like bullets and axes and things like that.
Here's the fun chandelier stage. It's really risky to try to do one cycle of this, but it saves a ton of time.
Yeah, I think the one cycle is, I think it has a couple one frame sections in it, so.
Yeah, it's super risky, that's for sure.
I have literally only done the one cycle in save state practice.
I remember coming to this stage when I first played the game, when it came out, and those chandeliers dropped, and I didn't think no big thing of it. And then the candle hit you, and the candle does a good amount of damage to you. It was so surprising.
Yeah.
This stage has a lot of annoying things coming at you. You got the plasmas bouncing around, you got axe armors, dancers dancing around, and then you'll have the male dancers that just come on screen and come running at you.
Yeah, I think that's I think that enemy is called Fred a Scare. Oh, that's not good.
A good little damage boost there. It's a pretty typical thing in Castlevania games to take damage boost to go up or even across chasms, you know, upstairs, up platforms.
I guess another thing that I didn't mention for this category is that it's usually faster, if possible, to do your whips while jumping, or basically to do, if an enemy has 3 hit points, I guess I won't go into like more specifics on enemy hit points, but enemies generally have 1, 2, 3, or 4 hit points. That's not completely accurate. It's more like they have like 32 hit points and the whip does 8 or something like that. but that's not what I want to do. But it's generally, if an enemy has 2 hit points, you want to do like a jumping whip and then a standing whip, or a standing whip and then a jumping whip, so you don't stay on the ground for very long. Minimizing your standing time is obviously best, since Simon can't really move while he's whipping.
So a fun little note about the background statues here in 6.3, they're censored in the North American versions because it's quote-unquote bare-chested statues. Just a fun little note for the Nintendo censorship.
Oh man, I probably should have run the Nintendo version. Because we're going to see blood later.
Yep.
And Pliskin prefers the non-blood version.
Yeah, it just fits with the theme better, I think. So these are the dancing, dancing spirits, and their names are Paula Abdul and Fred Escare.
Oh, that's the Fred Escare enemy. For some reason, I thought it was the dancing, or the dude that just like charged at you. I got my mobs mixed up.
That's true. That was a really good fight too. So here's the library.
Go ahead.
The library is another tough one without the cross, because there's a lot going on that you can prime the cross up for ahead of time. Get some of these monsters out of the way, like axe armor.
Yeah, I actually just learned the I don't know if I necessarily came up with that dancers fight myself, but I certainly didn't watch anyone's speedruns to come up with it. But I'm sure I'll watch one later and be like, that guy does the same fight as me. That's usually what I do when I come up with a strat. I find out that everyone else is running the same strat as me.
And here's a fun little setup. He stopped at those green books in the background so that he could jump up the floating books without stopping. And then he's able to kill this red skeleton, and when the book goes across that crack in the background, he can just jump right across and get to the other side really fast without stopping.
Yeah, the time difference in the books room between waiting for all of the books to cycle around and going without stopping that can be like a 45-second room, or it can be like a 19-second room. It's pretty crazy.
Hey guys,
what's up?
Hey.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. May I step in for a quick donation?
Absolutely.
Awesome. We received $20 from, sorry if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, Ditmuk. Thank you so much for the $20. Appreciate that. That puts our total up to 1, 2. Oh, dang. We almost had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much for that dono. And back to you guys.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Boop.
And thank you.
And sorry to interrupt. We're also at 95% of our goal. Just literally 5 more percent to finish this off. That's incredible. Okay.
That is awesome.
Have at it.
Awesome. Amazing, everyone. Good job. All right, so Hero's on Sir Grackle now. And he'll have 2 phases. So you can see him hitting with the axe here, and it's just cause a fire across the ground. It's mostly easy to avoid. But when he gets the sword out, it's a little bit harder. Sometimes you take a poke here and there. That was pretty good. He's definitely not one of the hardest bosses in the game, in my opinion.
Sir Grackle actually has an interesting mechanic where he can regenerate health.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so when he recoils back, like it looks like he's almost in a blocking animation, he can regen health in that pose. I had a really good fight against him in any percent, and he like regen 2 blocks of health against me.
Oh man, I had no idea he did that.
Yeah. Like watched it, I watched it back in slow motion and was like, wait a minute. And sure enough, he regained 2 full blocks of health against me.
All right, heroes and I actually don't know the official name for it. The dungeon, the sewer dungeon, I guess. But this is where he's talking about with the blood. So in the North American version, the USA version, that's all green. It's just has slime, I guess, because it doesn't really hurt you. It hurts you a little bit, but it's blood in this, the Japanese version, and it got censored out when it came to North America.
Man, if I had catacombs that were filled with blood and I was Dracula, this is where I would live.
Right?
I would just
Maybe it's
be
just
like,
food supply.
I would just be like, so much blood.
That's one of my favorite vertical screens. You just skip all that crap, all them spikes and stuff. You just jump down through the stairs. So Hero's gonna do a little damage boost here. He hits those stairs and he's able to just walk right through the spikes while he's got iframes going. Great time save because it's every time that other one's lower and you have to wait on it. And another iframe damage boost through the spikes. Yep, and here's the bridge. Anyone who plays the game knows this bridge. It's, I was told it's 66% random, 66% RNG. And here's the monster. See, he's standing right there on a white block, so he's able to just stand there, whip upwards, hits monster's head and the potions, and it's really safe. He can just stand there and whip and whip and whip.
Yeah, there's one potion that the monster will throw. It's a blue potion, and he will actually. He will advance if he throws a blue potion, but that's the only time that there's a chance that he'll help like screw the fight up. It's not that big a deal. You just have to keep whipping.
I do think Frankenstein's creature was called the creature, but in Castlevania, he's the monster. This is another level I liked as a kid.
I think this level has the best music in the game, for what it's worth.
Is that an item pickup death, or did you just fall?
Oh no, I just died. The skeleton moved in a direction that I did not anticipate, and my iframes wore out, so I died. I basically did everything correctly there, except he just moved in like a 25% chance of the wrong way, I guess you would say. I took a chance, okay?
All good. Except you're costing me money.
Look, I'm a speedrunner, all right? We take chances.
No, but as I was saying, I really liked this level as a kid. The music's really good, but the design of it is just really awesome. I mean, you got the ghost floating in the background, the gold bridges that break apart. I think it's just a really, really cool level. Golden stairs, you know, everything's different from the rest of the game.
I mean, Dracula is pretty rich, I'm just gonna say.
Right? He doesn't care about gold just falling into the chasm below.
No, dude does not care.
It looks like chat loves this boss in this level. What do you think of him, Hero?
Zapbat?
Yeah, Zapbat.
You know, I could go either way on him. When I fight him well, I really like him. When he gives me the business, kind of hate him. Man. What's cool about him is that I feel like he's a very unique boss in that in this game. He has 2 phases, which is not very common for the bosses in this game. And in terms of any percent, he's one of the only bosses that you have to actually like fight. He's like a challenge, whereas the other bosses are just like you just kind of melt them.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I personally don't mind him too much. I mean, it causes me problems, but it's a cool boss. I think this is you might know, I don't actually know, but I always thought this was probably the longest stage in the game.
Yeah, you know what? I think it is.
And here's the zap that. So it takes 22 whips, and then you'll see phase 2.
Unless you're running a randomizer, and then it sometimes is like 50. Basically, the strat with Zap Bat is to you basically want to hit your 20-second whip while he's close to the ground, so that he doesn't break apart too high. Because if his baby bats are high in the air, they're hard to hit. Other than that, I don't really have much of a strategy for him. Hit him a bunch of times until he's dead.
Hit him a bunch, maybe a few dodges here and there.
Yeah.
So when he's big bat, he only breaks apart when you hit him, and those do damage to you. But the little bats will also drop gold coins, and those will hit you as well.
You know, because money hurts.
Alright, and Hero rolled it over now. We're in A level instead of 10.
Uh-oh. Dog alert.
Uh-oh.
Apparently it's the 17th 4th of July we've had.
Oh, there's another one.
I'm so sorry. That was a very unexpected one. I almost got sucked into the pit, and then I was like, I can fix this. I can fix it. And I couldn't.
This is probably one of my favorite sections right here, when you're swinging on the whip. You jump up onto the stairs right before that skeleton.
Well, unfortunately,
you had the short whip, so you couldn't really do it the normal way.
Yeah.
And I remember that gear hitting me when I was a kid.
Oh my god.
I was like, that's not fair.
I was like, I didn't even know it was coming.
This part's really really dangerous too. You get knocked off, and the screen does not scroll down with you. It's a death. You really gotta time that well. And Hero doing it perfectly.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
There's a little pork chop for you right before the boss. So I know everyone calls this the mummy boss. Does anyone know his actual name? Oh, the Hero's getting a really good pattern on him too. When he spawns there, when he spawns on the right, he doesn't move at all. And you can just stand there and whip him. The worst spot at least worst to me, is on the very left. Was that intentional too then?
No, that was just really bad luck. I got hit from behind with a bandage, even though they're spawning in front of me. So I think
weird.
that 4, I think that's 4.
That's 4, and one of them was an item.
Yeah, one was an item.
So this boss's name is actually Akmodan II, or Akmodan II. But I'm never gonna call him that. He's the mummy. Well, Mumra's pretty good, Poppy. There you go. Damage list that time. More of them beautiful vertical levels you can just jump down.
I know, they're like, I enjoy them thoroughly, I will say.
That bridge, I always like to try to get every candle, but it's really lag inducive because you're throwing your whip out with all them bats. So
I did the opposite just for you, Pliskin. I did lag reduction strats on the last.
It looked really good.
I'm actually really bad at those backwards whips because they're actually a lot harder than people think they would. They don't seem like they should be very hard, but it's really hard to maintain all of your forward momentum and whip backwards. Simon does not like to maintain his forward momentum when you're hitting a backwards diagonal. I don't know if the game designers really cared.
So this room, D2, is it's probably a run killer for a lot of people, especially casual playing. You got these stairs that fall, and now you're to the platforms that just go up, and you gotta time your jumps, watch your head for these spikes that just surprise you. But like a lot of this game, really good music on this stage too. So there's at least one positive to replaying it.
Is this a remix of Vampire Killer?
I believe so. And here's Slagra. This, in my opinion, is probably the worst boss in the game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have crosses or whip. This fight is awful.
I hate this boss probably even more than the Dracula or a death fight. You know, he can just do so much random stuff. So far it's pretty good. Slagra would do these dashes, and it's usually when he is in the second phase, where he just got to. But sometimes he'll do it with the spear out, and so we call it a spear dash. That's why heroes running away and jumping, trying to avoid any dashes that randomly come up. There you got one where he dodged. Oh, he's trying to do the double dash on you there at the end too, huh?
What a jerk. Old Sloggy. Just trying to kill runs since, whatever, 1997? 6? Can't remember when this game came out.
Here's Gaibon. I think this is, especially for a later boss, this is probably one of the easiest bosses in the game, in my opinion, other than like maybe the Skeleton Horse.
The only part that's hard about Gaibon is that it's an aerial fight.
Yeah, you can block all them fireballs with your whip if you wanted to play safe, and just hit them when you get a chance, you know. and it's always in the same downwards pattern, especially in phase 2. I just think it's really easy for such a late boss. And then here's Death. He can be a jerk sometimes too. He's got some patterns that are not nice. Luckily, we're getting good patterns. Hero played safe, stayed on the left, whipped upwards until Death came down to do his sickle or scythe throw. And then that makes it really easy to put a lot of damage on him, as you can see. And that was an intentional death because his health was low, and it actually saves more time to get that death instead of going over and getting the food. You save about 1 to 1.5 seconds of time. And he goes through and gets the candles. He's able to whip upgrade. And you saw he skipped one that was because that's a cross.
So I will be donating $10 for my intentional death.
Now we're fighting Dracula. That's what I'm going to call him.
Old Dracula.
Would you consider it 3 phases? So he's got the fireball phase, then the fire imps, I guess. And then there's one more phase after that. I think once you learn the phases and how to fight him with a style that feels good for you, he's not really too hard either. Oh, and the food went. The food just took off on you. So that little fireball that floated upwards, for anyone who doesn't know, if he's getting one there. If you can get it to stop and do that little spinning, it drops a small pork chop for you. I think you had 2 float away. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, and so third phase, I was a little focused for a minute there. Just kind of had to get that food.
But, all good.
But third phase is just dodging electricity because the electricity does 4 damage. So, but
the timer doesn't stop yet because he's still got to grab the orb.
Yeah, timer on the orb.
And GG.
Yep. Thank you.